Dumelang Maseve, I hope you guys are good. This week we are in the Mercedes Benz EQE 43 4Matic. Never in my life would I have thought I would drive an electric AMG. We all know AMG to be internal combustion, to be brute, to be fun, to be performancey, to be loud, to be this, that, and the third. And when everything now just becomes silent and electric, it is just such, it's so crazy. It's so abnormal. But yeah, stay tuned. It's gonna be a good one. Starting off with the exterior, I think the EQE is something that's very different. It looks somehow, guys, like like I'm not understanding how this thing is built. Like the front but for me it does look better than the EQS. I don't like how the EQS looks much, and I'm getting it on test soon, so then I can compare it to the two. So unfortunately I can't compare it now, but I think the front is actually a bit nicer. It's a bit more futuristic, but there's apparently a scientific reason as to why Mercedes's electric vehicles are built like this. So it helps with aerodynamics and performance and all that jazz. So yeah, I think it's a very subjective matter, the looks. I'm also not too sold, but yeah, I think the front is okay. I can live with it, but it does look a bit like, it looks a bit like a blob, like it's so by squishy thing. It does look a bit weird. Moving on to the interior, you have a very lovely interior that we are so used to from the Mercedes Benz C-Class. So you have the 12.3-inch infotainment system here, and you have the instrument cluster up in front of you with very nice graphics that looks absolutely seamless, and they're quite cool. You have 4 USB points. USB-C or USC, I don't know the correct term for it. USB-C, USC points. You have one on just by the infotainment system, 2 inside here, and you have others just underneath on this floating center console, which I find to be really cool, and that gives a lot of for connectivity. But the ones up here are the ones I use for Apple CarPlay and obviously Android Auto connectivity. The interior, obviously, it's similar to how I feel about Mercedes interiors. You know, there's a lot of plasticky elements, but I really like a lot about it. The red seat belts are a good touch. The red stitching all over gives it that AMG distinct look, that funness, that sporty element of it. The black roof lining over here, the large sunroof. It's a very nice and sporty car, so I really do enjoy a lot about it. There is a lot of creaking that still happens, and I think that's prevalent in Mercedes products nowadays, but what else can we do? You can opt to get a hyper screen, which is that large screen that starts from this side of the car to all the way to the passenger side, the one that allows the passenger to even be able to watch TV and things like that, but it only works if there's a passenger there. So that hyper screen from Mercedes Benz, it will cost you about 155,000 Rand last I checked. So that's a lot of money. I think this one also works. It's seamless. It's well integrated. The MBUX system also, once you get accustomed to it, you should be fine with it. So the interior for me is it's just another American interior. So I'm okay with it. So let's get into the drive. How does the car drive? Look, the vehicle is powered by a 90 kilowatt hour battery which has an electric motor on each axle. So you have an electric motor up front and on the rear, which is very nice to drive, and that output is stunning. So the figures of this car is 350 kilowatts and 858 Newton meters of torque. So when you put your foot down, it just flies. It just goes. It's such an exhilarating experience driving this, because yeah, I mean, I'm doing that in comfort. If I want to get a bit of a sound, I just need to switch it up here, and there. I'm in Sport Plus now. And being in Sport Plus, you just get a bit of an artificial sound. I don't know if you guys heard that rumbling. So there's a bit of a manufactured sound that they put when you want to drive in Sport Plus. That brrrr, as you guys can hear. I don't know if you can hear it properly. So which is quite cool, and it's quite different from what you're used to. But when you're in comfort, go back to comfort, you hear absolutely nothing. So in terms of the drive, I think it's very engaging, corners very well, handles beautifully. The suspension is just built very well. It's low to the ground, so when you go into the corners and try to be agile and nimble, it absolutely helps you quite well. There is rear wheel steering, but you see it very minimally. It helps the turning circle be better. So when you're reversing, the rear wheels also turn, I think, about 4 degrees. And then if you want them to turn a bit more to up to 10 degrees, you pay a bit extra. So yeah, Mercedes makes you pay for almost everything. But the rear wheel steering really does help with agility and the turning circle. So that's a very commendable thing from them that I really, really, really enjoy. But ultimately, I think that it's a very, very well-crafted car, and I think that the driving experience in here is like other electric cars, but just has a bit of speciality to it. So that is something that's very commendable. So when it comes to charging, obviously being an electric vehicle, they do give you some cables at the back for you to charge at home or if you find a charging point. But I went to Sandton City for convenience, and I'm going to show you how that experience went right about now. So the vehicle is now on, as you guys can see, 48%, which is yielding 157 kilometers. I need to go to Pretoria, so I'm going to charge. I'm currently at Sandton City, so I'll show you guys how the charging process. So you just pop this thing open, and this is where you plug in your electric vehicle, right? So that is the EQE at the back. So I'm going to show you where I go. So I go take this plug over here, which is a DC charger, so it's a fast charger, and I'm going to plug it into the vehicle. And just like that, the car is charging. So let's go inside and check what's the status. Here's the instrument cluster up in front to see, so it's going to take an hour to get to 100%. And this is also on the infotainment system on this large screen, so it's showing me the process. It's on 48%. The kilowatts are going up to get the maximum charge, so it's going to take 59 minutes. And yeah, that is how you charge an electric car at Sandton City. But there are other chargers that you can find. There's one in Mall of Africa, Melrose Arc, Menlyn Main, the Mercedes Benz dealership by Menlyn. So there's various places where you can charge your vehicle, and yeah, very seamless and very easy. So what is the full verdict of my EQE 43 4Matic experience? Look, like I said earlier, I'm so accustomed to AMG being a certain type of car, being that performance guy. You know, Mercedes, we've grown to love them as that performance brand, also with such great attributes when it comes to dynamics and performance and output and agility and all the fun things that are attached to a performance vehicle. So when you jump into a car that's fully electric but has that nameplate, and there's no exhaust notes and stuff like that, it is a bit of a weird feeling, you know. Compared to the EQE and EQB, obviously it feels a bit more refined, a bit more done, and it feels a bit more better to drive compared to those. But I think on a daily, it would be a very, very lovely car to drive. But obviously the range is a bit compromised in here due to the high power output, so it needs more electricity. So if you want more range, look at the EQE 350 Plus. When it comes to its rivals, I think the closest thing at this point will have to be the BMW i4 M50. And someone asked me about it. How does it compare? I haven't driven the i4 M50. I did ask for it on test, and unfortunately I couldn't get my hands on it. But when I looked at it on paper, the i4 does 400 kilowatts and is significantly cheaper. This one costs 2 million rand, 2,025,000 rand. The i4 costs 1.7 million. So I think in terms of value for money, the i4 is the way to go. And I think a lot of South Africans will go for it because of how conventional the styling is. I said this before, EQA, EQB, I think they might struggle a little bit because I see more iX3s than I see those cars. And I think it's because how conventional the iX3 design looks. And it's a personal favorite of mine. No shade to the EQB or anything like that, but those ones are personal favorites. That one is a personal favorite for me. So it all boils down to preference, actually. I think the EQE is nice on a daily, good for the school run, good for going to work, very seamless to use. It's a very nice car. You don't even need the hyper screen. You're very good with this. So this spec as it is probably worth the money. But I do feel like there's not much character. For an AMG, I expected a little bit more. I think I need to hold it on track and maybe feel what would be nice about it on track. But for now, it just feels like another fast electric car, you know. I think I was expecting some bewildering experience, some funness, some craziness. You know, I think that's what I was expecting from it. I mean, it's a phenomenally built vehicle. All the tech and everything, how clever it is, that is so commendable. But I still wanted the rawness of an AMG product, and I think I didn't get that in here. But other than that, I think it's beautiful. If I was looking in the EQ range, I might as well just go for the 350 if the 43 feels like this, you know? Even in that Sport Plus mode, I think it feels so awkward. Ultimately for me, I can give this car a solid 8 out of 10. It brakes well, corners well, all the things that I've mentioned, I put top class marks on it. It's just that the soul is what I needed. The I don't know if I'm asking for too much from Mercedes, but I know electric cars probably are quite the most mundane of products because they just drive a certain way. But yeah, I just was missing that funness that I wanted. I mean, the only time you get it when you put your foot down, but then the torque becomes constant. So that burst of power only gives you short bursts of happiness, if you get what I mean. So I ultimately think that Mercedes did a good job with it. On a daily, it would be one of the most perfect vehicles to buy. I think as a daily, it's a very beautiful product for the daily commute. So it can work. Leg room at the back is absolutely stunning. I really did enjoy how well it is. You know, there's enough headroom also for you when you're sitting at the back, and I'm not really the shortest of people, so yeah. I'm not short, guys, I'm not short, but ultimately kudos to Mercedes. They did a good job with this car. Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed, but I just needed a little bit more. Anyway, Maseve, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Yeah, I'll see you guys very soon, guys. We're almost at 7,000, so thank you guys so much. Let's keep the movement going, let's keep the growth going, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please tell me what you would get between the EQE and the i4 M50, or if there's any other electric vehicle that sparks your interest, let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, bye guys, I will see you in the next one.